All right, good morning, everybody. Today is Taste Life Nutrition Radio and Podcast streaming live on KUHSdenver.com. Started my music too early. It's my favorite song. It's okay. Anyway, I'm Nikki Burnett, founder of Taste Life Nutrition and Taste Life Nutrition Radio and Podcast. Today we have on Liz Pittoni. I'm so excited. This is going to be such a really cool conversation because it's a little bit outside of what we've done in the past, which is what we want to do, right? We want to give really good information from people who are just freaking smart in what they do, and that's Liz. So Liz is the founder of Spotted Elephant Consulting, and is an expert in leadership. And what I love in your bio is finding the elephant, right? Finding the elephant and then finding ways of managing that in organizations, right? And so I'm not going to do a lot of talking about that because it's your space to talk about that.
Sure.
But first, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. This was on my to-do list for the year, and when we met last year, you're like, "Hey, I have a podcast.
Let's do it.
Come join me."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, let's make it happen." And here we are. So, dream come true. I love that.
I'm glad it was with this show. It's going to be a really fun conversation. I love that we can bring the two things together that we do.
Mm-hmm.
So, though, we always start the show with gratitude because gratitude can change the world. What are you grateful for?
Great question. I think my biggest thing is finding humor and finding the fun in even the hardest things that we do. And I'm not talking about toxic positivity, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I really do. But, you know, going in with a lighter voice, a lighter style, it doesn't have to be so hard.
Yeah.
And so, and that's how we started talking about this whole idea of leadership with nutrition of, isn't it great if you're doing hard things like an all-day offsite or multiple days in a conference room for leadership development? Why wouldn't you have stretch breaks?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you put some yoga in there or go for a walk outside? I mean, weather dependent, right?
Sure,
We're not asking you to go out in negative 200-degree weather or something like that. But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And couldn't that start with the most important people based on their positional power in the room to say, you know what I want to do is get up and stretch and go for a walk and leave this space and come back. And so that's where we started talking about it. Like, I'm grateful for, you know, just opening up that dialogue and having people be receptive to it and just like being at a little, life is so hard as it is with certain things we have to do. Like, let's just do it with a little bit more humor.
I love it.
And fun.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Because you are freaking funny. And this is, well, and it's you're funny, but you're quick, right? These are the qualities that I don't possess. Or being, I'm always like, wait, I don't get it.
Well, I don't know. I think it's like what's the right terminology? There's like the tortoise and the hare, but you're more like the fox, you know, like the sly, just waiting in the background of like the right thing to say.
Okay,
you know?
I love that. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, right?
Whatever it takes, you know, we're gonna get it done. Yeah.
Awesome. So what am I grateful for today? You know, I think I tend to think about this not enough before the show, but it always comes to me because I think kind of what I want is for me to more be in the moment, right? I'm always preparing and looking at notes and all of this stuff, and I'm like, what am I grateful for in the moment and sort of on the spot? And what's coming to me right now is I think that it's these women's groups that are coming together. You know, we have this history, for whatever reason, of being catty, and you know, women are so hard on each other, and we don't support each other, and we've had this massive shift, right? I think we have anyway, and women are coming together intentionally to be supportive, whether they're in the same field or not. Excuse me. And so all of this coming back to the event that you and I met at, which, you know, usually when I do, you know, these, you know, 3-day conferences, I've got my group of people I'm going with, and I'm hanging out, and we're gonna have fun, and, you know, it's kind of, because it's what you know, and it's not the most comfortable thing doing things by yourself. Well, I just went by myself. It's like, fine, I know like one person, I'm just gonna go. And we didn't go together, and I didn't know her well. And so I sat at this table, and you were like, hey, I'm Liz. I'm like, hey. And I love it so much, because what has come out of this, which has never happened to me before, what has come out of this is this little group of us that found each other in this women's conference that we were at, and we still connect, and we still have our little messaging system. You know, I don't even know what you call it, our group messenger, I guess, right? And we are supportive of each other. I mean, I did a talk, and these ladies came to my talk. You know, I mean, it was the coolest thing to have that kind of support, and I'm so grateful for. I'm grateful for you for all of those reasons, right? And I'm grateful for the other ladies who have impacted me, I think, in such a short period of time. Really freaking cool stuff. And so that's really what I'm grateful for today. So
well, thank you. I mean, I think, you know, also there's been this shift of realizing as females that it's okay to ask for help. Because the perfectionism and the need, and this goes into leadership as well, of if you hadn't asked, hey, I'm giving this talk, does anyone want to come? We never would have known that that was available to us, right? Yeah. So if you don't ask for what you need and want, or alert people to the greatness that you are providing, right? That talk was so great.
Aww.
You know? And so, and if you hadn't taken the step to acknowledge that this was happening, none of us could have come to support, right? So I think it's this circular argument, and I don't know where you start, right? But in leadership and like to support mental health and support other people within your networks, it is a give and take. You have to ask to get the help and get the support too. Right, so
you do, and good. It's stepping outside of your comfort zone, because you know, for one, there's the fear of everybody. You know, I'm going to say this and I'm going to do this thing, and everybody's going to have something else to do. They're like, no, sorry, can't do it, or I get up on stage and I suck, and you know, I would rather just there be one person there than a whole group of people see me suck, and. You know, it's all of it is stepping outside of your comfort zone, and it's a learning experience for sure. But it was such a great experience for me, and I'm grateful for it. Grateful for the whole experience of just finally doing it. Right, I've done a number of talks, but it was different. I had training and coaching, and you know, it's sort of on my. Thank you. It's been on my list of to-dos for this year, right? My intentions for this year, and the cool thing is, I guess another thing to be grateful for is it's happening, right? I'm doing these multiple talks. I've got several scheduled for the year, so maybe it's another piece of gratitude that gets me outside of my box and my comfort zone to do hard things and get used to doing the hard things, right? And being okay with doing hard things.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, if you don't do hard things, it's kind of, we've talked about being strong as my word for the year that came out of that conference, right? And so you can't build that muscle memory, whether it's lifting weights or eating certain kinds of food, whether inflammatory things and other things. If you don't take the step to make that change, which is hard, because humans, your brain is conditioned to not want to do the thing that's really hard. I know that just in my own self. And so, you know, it's like taking that first step to do the talks, open up, and I call it like an atmosphere, right? If you're telling the atmosphere, like, my goal for the year is to get on more stages and give more talks, or in my case, do more podcasts, if you don't ever say it out loud, the atmosphere can't deliver it for you. Right? And so if you just hold all that information in, nobody knows. And so you can't, it will never happen. So
Totally.
good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't realize when's your next talk? We'll have to.
Yeah, I've got a couple coming up in April, a couple coming up in May. I think that's it. So I think 3 or 4 or 5. I should know exactly, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Thanks. So let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about you before we dig into kind of the meat of what we want to talk about here. Let's talk a little bit about you, where you come from, what your history is. Talk about your company, what your company does. And then we'll go from there.
All right. I'm from Earth.
I mean, that's a good thing.
You want to narrow the scope?
I was questioning that.
So yeah, I grew up on the East Coast outside New York City. I lived in the city for a long time. I also lived overseas for about 10 years. I lived in Bermuda.
Ooh, that's right. I knew that.
Yeah. Yes, it was great. I thought it was great. And then moved to Colorado about 10 years ago. So I consider Colorado home. I think it's amazing. I live in Boulder. I know people hate Boulder. Sometimes I hate Boulder too. It's okay. I won't complain about the traffic. I think that's a lame conversation, right? Of hasn't it gotten so much more traffic since you moved here? I'm like, have you ever lived in New York City or been to LA or Japan? No.
Yeah.
Travel outside of Colorado and then tell me about traffic. So that's kind of where I grew up. I'm trying to think. My background is I've worked in finance and banking and then in big tech. And now I work in with local government, and I have my own consulting company. But my background is really in project and process management, as well as organizational change. So running large-scale transformations and also setting up and growing teams. And so my company, which I started a couple years ago, Spotted Elephant Consulting, is really centered on how do you work with leaders of teams or small companies to unlock their team's potential by spotting the elephant, the big problem that's in the way. Now, elephants they're not aggressive by nature, right? They are these wonderful, gentle giants, which I think is the reason why it resonated so much as being the brand for my organization. There's sometimes things you just get comfortable with as leaders of, it's just the way it's always been. It's just always been this hard to do that. Because it's the size of an elephant and I don't know how to break that down. And so what we do is we'll come in and say, so this is the challenge, right? The reason why your team isn't feeling that connected is because what they really want, rather than going to happy hour at a bougie wine bar, they want you to surprise them with donuts once a month. And this is a real conversation with a client. And he just started to laugh. He said, that's just not real. And I'm telling you, it's not just one of them, right? It's a company of 10 to 12 people. This is not just one person. This is multiple people. And so helping leaders think about retention strategies, think about succession planning, which I think is all intermingled, is really important, right? Because without people, you can have the best products, you can have the best service, but you need to have at least one other person. Otherwise, it's just you. Right? And if you think about the long-term strategy, we will eventually age out of doing the things. And so as a founder, you have to start thinking about what is the next generation? How are they going to come in? And I don't consider it filling your shoes, but it's how are we going to take it to the next level, right? because you might want to wear Birkenstocks and I might want to wear stilettos, or vice versa. I don't know. It's not really the shoe, it's the how we're gonna move it forward. So anyway, the donuts was eye-opening, and I've had that conversation with multiple either founders or leaders of teams, and just understanding the difference of the multi-generational teams is really, really key as a leader.
It's fascinating. And it's fascinating that you see this. There are a couple of big things that I see. One of them is the non-drinkers, like huge portion of the younger generation. They don't drink, or they drink very little. So going back to what you were saying about the bougie wine bar, I know we talked a little bit about this the other day, but it's so fascinating because that's what we know. We get together, we go to the wine bar, we go grab a cocktail, or whatever it is, and they're like, I want donuts, I don't drink. Which then I'm like, can we do gluten-free donuts? Anyway, but there's such differences, and I also see as a Christian, I think I see this more because more and more people are moving to religion. And I think that's fascinating too with the younger generation. I think it's pretty interesting. But yeah, so how do you, as a Gen Xer, talk with your, I don't even know what the generation is now. But
I've lost count. Is it alpha or beta, I think, or something? It's and so that's the challenge, right? Yeah. And so it's kind of that Rosetta Stone. So what we do is come in and say, okay, wine bar generation, donut generation. These are the things that we're hearing as opportunities to retain your staff, to grow your staff, to make this a team that's fully integrated. Right. Yeah. And there is no promises that I can make, or anyone can make, that by doing this work you will retain 100% of your staff. What I can say is that this is a model that I designed and created during COVID, so during the Great Resignation. I retained 100% of my staff for 2 years, from 2020 to 2022.
Amazing.
It does work. And you have to, as a leader, do the work, right? It's not a set it and forget it. This is what we're going to do for every person on the team. You actually have to have a bespoke model with each of your directs and the rest of your team. It is a lot of work to be a leader, right? And so having the right nutrition, having the right sleep patterns, having the right leading from the top when you're in a position of power is so important. Right? And being able as a leader to have enough energy to take on something might happen, right? I had a person during COVID, he had a family disaster, we'll call it that. And so both his direct leader and myself stepped in to absorb his role while doing both of ours. And so, it wasn't even a question. We're like, just take time. Why don't you start with 2 weeks? Give us an hour to go through, tell us what's happening in the next week or two. We're going to take on everything, and then start with 2 weeks. And if it's a month, if it's 2 months, whatever you need, right? And I think that's, it's just a way that you grow teams, is being able to not only support from above, but not be afraid to get your hands dirty, roll up your sleeves, and pitch in where you can, but you've got to be able to take care of yourself too. Yeah.
So when you're working with these teams, I know that you and I have had these conversations around, wellness, and wellness being, lots of different, it's lifestyle, right? And not everybody's perfect, but it is, if you're a leader, you're leading positively or negatively, even if you're a great leader, but you're not doing some of these lifestyle things that make for, whether it's an optimal work environment or an optimal body to be able to work in the environment that you're in. What are you seeing as far as leaders? Is there a thought around bringing in wellness strategies beyond the, hey, let's do a a no sugar challenge, right? whatever it is, they spend all of these monies on company going, okay, we're going to do a challenge, and does it stick? And so what do you see with these organizations?
It's the age-old change management question. So this is like a principle within project management of how do you impact change, right? And so I agree with you doing these, hey, we're going to do this thing for a short period of time, whether we bring in someone for a day and we're going to hit you with all this great information of low sugar, low carb, no carb, walking, all the things, no caffeine. That's horrible.
Yeah, bad idea.
I'm like, why are we doing that? And so I think that I think all of that is a good starting point. And then it's who are your change champions that are going to help continue to implement that, right? Who is your person who's going to take that and do something every month, all right? What does it look like for the organization? You have to have the accountability to do that, and so what I've found, even doing the work that I've done the last couple of years with clients, is you give them this roadmap of this is all the great stuff that you have. Let's prioritize it, and then we can start to go through it. For teams that are not in the headspace to prioritize the work and then own the roadmap themselves, it becomes shelfware. Nothing happens with the work that gets handed over. I did have clients that are like, I know how to do this, I'm going to prioritize the work and I'm going to implement it. So it kind of depends on who you have. But I really find having, call it a change champion, someone who can own this as their role or part of their role is really, really valuable.
Yeah. I would imagine, and I would think, I wonder, in organizations that don't already have some kind of wellness strategies set up, is there a thought around the fact that if employees are not sleeping well, they're not functioning well, if they're not eating well, they're not functioning well, if they're not, addressing nervous system issues, or, whatever the case may be, they're not functioning optimally, which obviously means then that they're likely not making optimal decisions, right? Or you're making rash decisions, or you're too tired to do the work top notch. Everything plays everything plays together, right? And so I'm curious for those who just sort of get stuck or feel like it's too much, or if this is a thought process that is in the world and it's just hard to implement. I don't know.
Yeah. Again, I feel it's that positional power and leadership, right? So if you have a leader that's online till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, sending messages, texting, all the things, if there's no expectation for you to respond, fine, that's one layer. But it's still a behavior of somebody in a leadership position. They're up all the time. They're doing the grind. So they are not sleeping is what that message is. And so the message subconsciously is sleep is not important, work is more important than sleep. Right? And so then we're going to over caffeinate all day, probably not sleep, work all night. Right? And so it's this vicious cycle that basically comes into, now what about this? Phone's down at 5 o'clock. Nothing is sent after 5. If anything is sent after that, there is no expectation. It's really the exception, not the rule. So imagine leadership that really focuses on that. The whole thing changes. There is no grind after hours. And maybe it's 6 o'clock, I'm not going crazy, but, and I think industry to industry, it's going to change. But I've worked in both. I like the second. It's way better. Your sleep is not compromised. You can get a solid 8 easily, and have time for life, to do all the things with family and friends and all the things that help us to be better rounded people.
So you hit on so many things there. We can start. There's life. There's sleep. There's nervous system regulation. There's blood sugar regulation. Going back to if we were to bring in the biochemistry piece of this, looking at if you've got a leader who is never shutting down, right? You're going to have a nervous system out of whack. If you don't have sleep, your glucose is going to go up. Then you become insulin resistant, right? I mean, you name it. You may not even be eating terribly, but with the stress on the body, the lack of sleep, all of it, and I think a lot of people truly believe I only need 6 hours of sleep. I think it's a rare day that actually happens, right? Or not happens, but that's actually the case. I think we all need that 7.5 to 8.5 hours of sleep to truly be to have the brain refreshment, right? To have the GI refreshment, right? This is when everything is rejuvenating, is during our sleep. And if we're not hitting the REM sleep that we're supposed to get, right? If our mind is the squirrel brain, she's constantly going and going and going, and I'm asleep and I'm awake and I'm asleep and I'm awake, and so many factors can play into that, but it's going to impact everything that you do. And I think that impacts, it's just going to go on down the line to everybody you're working with.
Yeah. Imagine if sleep was a non-negotiable. It was part of your work contract of, you got compensated on getting 8 hours of sleep a night. What would that do to the workplace, right?
What a good idea.
I mean, it's amazing. I know. I mean, they'll probably think I'm crazy, but I mean, isn't it a conversation of, I am so proud of my sleep. I get 8 hours of sleep a night. I was talking to someone I get 9. I'm like, oh, challenge accepted.
Yeah, right.
It's like, is this going to be the new Iron Man fad kind of thing where everyone's going to get on this sleep kick? I know with all the devices that people wear now to track sleep, and people are getting more and more hyper focused about it, because I think there is so many correlations with dental health and cognitive decline, and it's all related and comes back to something super easy in terms of, easy is not for everyone, but it is something that you can address, whether with food and turning screens off and not caffeinating too late. I mean, there's definitely things that you can look at, and saying, hey, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm not going to have any caffeine afternoon. Right, and leading from that, although I love coffee, that's just not going to happen for me anymore, right? So having some boundaries and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, boundaries are important for all of everything that we do, but particularly whether it's as a leader or as an employee, or an employee who has who does has responsibilities, managerial responsibilities or whatever. To be that person who says, these are the things that are important for me as a person, but also important for my productivity at work, and for me to be the best that I can be. And it's got to be from the top down, and not everybody's going to do it the same way. But, I think, we look at these things, so sleep being one of them. We look at, okay, we're eating lunch at our computer, right? People don't realize what a big deal it is if you don't stop and allow the nervous system to take a break, right? Because we may not think that we are in fight or flight, but the more we sit and look at our computers and our phones and all of this stuff, and sitting, right, and not getting up, all of these things, it just keeps us in this constant fight or flight, this constant sympathetic. And we've got to take a break from that, or shit's going to go haywire, right? I mean, we wonder why 10 years down the road we're broken and we're, frazzled, because we spent 10 years eating at our computer and not getting up and not moving and all of these things. And so from my perspective, I'm always telling people, I need for you to stop. And I'm not perfect at this by far, but I need for you to, when you get up to go eat, and I'm pretty good at this, but especially when it's warm outside, warm does me really, really good, but I will get up from my computer, I will go to the kitchen, I'll make my lunch. If it's summertime, I'll go to my garden and make my lunch, and I go sit outside. And oftentimes my husband and I can go and do that, and we can sit outside. And play with the dogs and talk to each other and sit in the sun, and it's a restful, rejuvenating place. Now, that's not always possible in the office, but getting away, probably you can go outside. There are often ways of getting outside, even in a crowded office building. And if anything, just sitting, right? Get off the phone, get off the computer, let yourself calm, let your nervous system calm, because your GI functions better. It functions optimally. It functions the way it's supposed to in a rest and digest state, right? If you're in sympathetic and you're constantly going, you've got the blood that's shunted essentially from the core out here, and so you can't break down your food properly. You can't absorb your nutrients properly. Nothing's going to work the way that it should. And you're like, why am I only pooping every other day? Why am I only pooping once a week? I don't understand what's going on, right?
You did warn me we were going to talk about poop, so you snuck it in there.
I did. I have to, but people, they come to me like, I poop once a week. I'm like, okay, this is a big problem. And this is, and we're told in conventional medicine oftentimes, well, that's just how you're made. It's fine.
No. That's your toxic buildup, right? I mean, do you take the trash out when it's overflowing? Of course you do, right?
Let it just
so
build
nasty.
up, and that's a really great way of looking at it. It's true,
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to just let the trash build up and pile up in your house for weeks and weeks. You're going to take it out when it's full.
Yeah.
And so it should be full every day. And
should
so
be emptied every day.
give me one. Yeah, I'm going to just my alerts just came off. I had it on Do Not Disturb. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to do that because I don't need to know what's going on with the girls' trip right this second.
Ooh, I wouldn't know about the girls' trip.
You want to come? Oh, that's for another. I mean, talk about trying not to be super type A with nine females.
Ooh.
I'm like, you guys decide. I'm gonna book my hotel. I'm way too old for this. Beep. Yeah. Anyway.
Amazing. Fun.
Hopefully they're all listening. Yay. We'll fix it all now. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important. One of the things that I used to do a lot of was I'm just too busy to take a break. So I'm going to take my lunch. I'm going to sit at my desk, right? I mean, I do have a standing desk at home, and I have one in the office and things like that. And I think it's really important to have that just for content switching. I even found during COVID, I don't know about you, I was so bored being in four walls. So I decided to do things and learn how to do things with my left. I'm a right-handed person. Yeah. And so I started to learn how to do things with my left hand. So I learned how to mouse with my left hand. I was starting to write with my left hand. That did not go as well as the mousing was really cool because it I felt like it turned on things in my brain that hadn't been activated in a while.
Amazing.
And so, those are just some like little hacks and things that you can do. Even a way that you always drive to, go to the grocery store, go to the park, or whatever it may be. Drive a different way and see what happens to your brain. Yeah. It is so wild. And then what I like to say, I call them all walks, but if you're driving, you could ditch your car and walk the rest of the way, but you just notice what you see that you haven't seen before. And so there is science kind of going back to the digestive stuff that if you go on a walk and you are walking with the intention of seeing something with fresh eyes, you will see something new. And so by seeing something new, it's triggering something in your brain, and by having more awe, you're actually boosting your brain chemistry, right? And so there's all these positive things, like you're more scientific than I am, but then you come back to work and you're like, wait a minute, I feel so much better than had I just sat and done the grind and worked through lunch. And even 15 minutes is such a game changer, and it puts things in perspective. That, was this critical that I needed to get on and do 400 emails at the end of my day? I could do that tomorrow morning and block off an hour before I start.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I hadn't thought to just content switch it, but once I took that 15-minute walk, I mean, this is yesterday, so I can talk from experience. Like, I should just go home. I have a huge inbox I haven't gotten to. And I got home, I said, I'm going to go for a walk instead and watch the sunset and come home. And it was like 15 minutes right as the sun was going down. And I was like, oh, I've got all this time before I talk to Nikki. I can just do my emails then.
Yeah.
So I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I didn't get through all of them, but yeah. It's good. It's like you can slow down, and just, I was working with a group yesterday, and it's actually the police department in Boulder, and I was talking to him, he's like, that advice you gave me a couple months ago, I just want to let you know it really worked. And here's what it was that on our plates, we have way too much, right? All the stuff that we want to get done in a day, a week, a year, it's too much. We know that because we want to say yes to everything. And I just had a conversation with him. He's like, well, I want you to come in and give the same advice that you gave to me to the rest of the police department, all the leadership. I'm going to bring them all in a room and you're going to talk to them. I said, oh, I feel that's very cool. Thank you. What a cool opportunity. I said, well, what was the advice that you gave me? And so it's a project management tool where you, and maybe more in software development, where you have this big ask of go and do life. Whoa, okay. You're not gonna be able to get started, it's too big. So how do you break that down into bite-sized chunks every day? Well, maybe you can break it down, but then you're not carving out the time. And so what my advice to him was, have blocks of time every week, whether it's a half hour a day or an hour a week or something, that that you're gonna put your top priority, one, not 1 and 2, there's only one that can go in your top priority spot, and work on it for that and get it done. Right? And then it's a non-negotiable, you have the time already allotted, you've broken down the work into bite-sized pieces, and you can get the work done. And so he's like, yeah, I'm getting it done. I go, I imagine that, And so he's leading by example to then say, I had just too much on. I had things on my plate that have been on there since 2022. I said, take them off. If they're not done by now, it's 4 years later. They're not important anymore. Yeah. Don't let that, that's just baggage. It's hanging over your head. It's actually weighing you down. Yeah. It's kind of like swimming with clothes on, is how I feel. You can do it for training, right? But it's like, why not just, okay, well, that went sideways real fast. But you know what I mean? Like, a swimsuit's more effective than jumping in boots and a jacket and ski pants. It's just weighs you down. It's the same protocol of swimming, but do it with the least amount of effort, and just get rid of the things that are no longer serving you, which is having all of that extra that you didn't get to. Your mind is like, oh, it's defeatist. Why would I even start this? Because I cannot get to the bottom of my list. Cut your list in half. Yeah. Cut off the dead weight. Yeah.
I think that's such a really great point and a great a great thought for people to consider as moving through their day, because it just gets so overwhelming. I'm thinking of my own list, right? I write my list and then I use my Trello board I just combine them and then get rid of the stuff that you're just not going to do. So I want to get back real quick because you hit on a few things all at one time that I thought was really great. And so one, it was, going back to the walking, and particularly walking after a meal. And cognitive function, right? And it's all connected, right? We know that the gut and the brain are connected. Pretty much everybody at this point knows that. But to the degree of the connection, right, it's like they're one and the same. They have some different functions. But if we think about, large portion of our neurotransmitters are actually produced in our gut, you're like, oh, wait, there's a massive connection there. And so, we have this society, I feel like maybe we're kind of coming out of it, but they're like, okay, I had my lunch and now I'm just tired and I have this slump, which then you go for the coffee or you go for the sugar or you go for the snack or you do whatever it is that you can do to get your boost, because you still got half a day of work to do, right? And you've got your list and your other list and all of the things that you've got to get through, right?
Yep.
And so it's this fascinating point that if you go for a walk after you eat, then you don't have these blood sugar spikes and drops. You're much more balanced, and you can get through your day by doing a 10-minute walk, which also then means that your cognitive function is going to be much more enhanced by going for a walk.
Yeah, I mean, and imagine adding the layer of community building, right? Bring a friend.
Yeah.
And so you could, we were talking about this. I was at an event down in Denver. We were working with a nonprofit to help them set up a succession plan, just a little something like that. And I just mentioned I was so tired for sitting in a conference room without any windows all day. And I just said, after lunch, I'm going to go for a walk. And everyone's like, ooh, that sounds like a great idea. And so we did. We went as a whole team of 4, and then the person we were working with was like, hey, let me drive you. And then it compounded, right? Ooh, let me drive you up to this mesa, and we'll walk around there. This is great. I mean, just when you open up the door to the opportunity, it was great. And so we came back, and so that 3 o'clock slump really didn't happen. I mean, were we a little tired? Sure, but I didn't feel as exhausted as that normal, let me go. And again, I'm not doing caffeine in the afternoon. So it wasn't as bad as it normally is. And then I think we talked about, and then I had cookies, but I didn't feel as thrashed after I, had the cookies or whatever. It was good. I mean, I think it's, if you can start to do that after you eat, it's going to help your digestion. It kind of helps sleep. I know for me too, if I add it in, it helps my sleep at night because I do feel tired then rather than boosting the caffeine or boosting the things in the afternoon. You're ready for bed. Yeah. You're going to start to be ready like 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock and you're going to go right to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. What if, during, because it's unavoidable to have to go through these 2-day-long meetings, right? Or conferences or whatever it is. What if, leadership brought in the healthy snacks instead of the donuts, the water, right? Good. I mean, I'm just going to throw it out there because it's so important that we don't really think about it, but good, healthy, filtered water. And then building into what is happening. Hey, Henry? Okay. I don't know what's going on. I see you, but there's a glitch.
She's having an internet glitch.
You think it's on her end? Of course.
Is it?
I mean, it shows that it's fine on the little.
Okay.
It's the wind.
The wind is crazy, isn't it? Is it crazy up where you are?
It is a little bit intense, yeah.
Yeah, I got on the road on the highway and it threw me over. I was like, holy smokes, man, today is something special. Anyway.
I'm glad we're doing it virtually. Yeah, I walked outside. I'm like, ooh, okay. High wind, weather, fire warning, all the things. Yeah, it's trees are bending outside and dancing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I'm inside. It's like if you put on a little nutcracker music, it looks like they're doing a little dance.
Aww.
Yeah, it's kind of sweet. There it is. That's the humor, right? It's like we're in a high weather event situation. Could be the nutcracker dancing.
I like the nutcracker.
We were talking about walking, leadership, healthy snacks.
Yeah, and just making a point of having the water, having healthy snacks, and going, okay, we're going to get up, instead of taking a 5-minute restroom break, we're going to take a 15-minute break, get up and go to the restroom and go for a walk, right? Get outside, go sit in the sun. So that's my thing. I'm like, I need to go sit in the sun. I don't mind walking. Walking's great, but it's like it's like the meditation for me. It's like that feeling the sun on my skin. It's one of my very favorite things. And so, but make it intentional. And sometimes we have to suggest it, because, like you said, people don't always think about it. And so if we start, if we make a point of just making the suggestions, it's not harder. It's just, let's think about this as leaders and start this trickle down effect where we are doing it, and so everybody else is as well.
Yeah. Right? I think it has to be super intentional, right? And again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, like who's going to be that person who's going to own that, right? And so if you're having these conferences, is it, you know, and maybe it's us, and everyone listening, you know, take it away, see what happens. Yeah. I would also add to the piece of end 15 minutes, you're going to go to the bathroom, then we're going to take a 10-minute walk, go sit in the sun, no phones. Yeah. This is not an opportunity to recheck all your emails and all your 54 text messages and doom scroll. It is an opportunity to just let your nervous system have a quick reset. Yeah. I'm not perfect at that. I'm not saying that that's, you know, and sometimes I just want to listen to an audiobook because it's great. And it's, you know, it just have 10 minutes to just move or sit or you soak in your vitamin D, whatever it is. Yeah. And just think about that as such the amount of benefit. I think we've talked about this, like the work you're doing now is your long-term strategy for aging with grace. Right. And so we as a human race are living longer and longer because of medical science. We can put in a new hip, we can fix your heart, you can fix your knees, you can get all the things, right? The thing you can't fix is your brain. Not yet. Maybe that'll come. I don't know. But there's things you can do now in terms of movement and diet and things like that will help. I actually got this after we talked from the Alzheimer's Society. Nice. I was like, what? And so, you know, it talks about all the things you're, you know, controlling your blood pressure, get moving, eat right, sleep well, don't smoke. All the things we talked about. Clearly, it's very windy where I am.
Yeah, well, I think we can still hear you. You just kind of go in and out. So I think it's okay. It's a little frustrating, but.
All right. Let me see if I hardwire myself real quick. I don't know if that's going to matter. We have this company. I won't blow them up on things, but they're not the best.
Oh, no.
People are not. You know how it goes. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to be any better. Let's see. I'll allow that. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. I'm going to try and see if that's any better.
It's all good.
So, anyway, troubleshooting. That's another good way to keep your brain active.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm literally clipping a LAN cable to the bottom of my laptop with a binder clip. So it doesn't slip.
Perfect.
Yeah. Let's see if it works. Okay. Anyway, where were we?
So I think gosh, so many directions we could go into. I think first thing I want to say is we do have, especially early on, we do have the ability to reverse cognitive dysfunction. So I think it's important that we don't have sort of this thought that once we're there that there's nothing we can do, right? You know, early onset Alzheimer's, people are reversing it. It's got to be managed. I don't know that we can fully get rid of it, but it has to be managed. But this is the stuff where we have the ability, as individuals, you know, especially, I mean, this is, I can't help but to throw this in because this is what I talk about all the time, but understanding our genetics and our epigenome, right? And how do we dig in deep and learn these things in order to mitigate risk and diminish the amount of risk that there is, right? So I said this 100 times, and we talked about this the other day, that I have the genotype that pushes Alzheimer's, and that's just the way that it is. So because I know it, I know that there are many things for me to do to help mitigate my risk, right? And so the likelihood of it happening is much less, and if it does happen, hopefully I'm super old and it doesn't matter anyway, right?
But you'll get to that age where it's just, you know, you're just saying whatever you want.
Yeah,
anyway.
It doesn't matter anyway.
Like, you know, she's lived to 200, she deserves it.
Yeah.
You know.
So, but sorry, the going back to though the exercise portion of it, you know, people are like, I sit all day, or I have a standing desk, which yes, I do sit and I also stand. I have a standing desk, but you know, one of the things that we don't do enough of, which I love this term, it's not my term, but it's the exercise snacking, right? This is one of the things that can help with cognitive health, cognitive function, whether you have Alzheimer's genes or not, right? You get up every 45 minutes, every 60 minutes, and you do some squats. It's like doing 20 squats, and you sit back down, or you go back to your desk, and or you do some jumping jacks, or you just move instead of being still for hours and hours and hours on end. And so these are the things that seem simple, and we don't think about it. I'm going to speak from my own perspective, because I do CrossFit, but I don't do as much of the exercise snacking as I should. And so when I'm sitting here focused on this stupid blue screen, actually it's not blue, I took that away, and I've got blue block glasses. You know, I try to do the things, but I'm still sitting here looking at a computer, knowing my eyes are going to crap now because I look at a computer all the time, right? But I'm so into what I'm doing and being the sort of that troubleshooter, right? This is what I do every day, day in, day out. I'm troubleshooting other people's issues. And I get focused and I get stuck instead of going, okay, I'm going to be much better as a person, as a professional, as a practitioner, as a guide. If I take the time to get up and move a little bit versus sitting and just focusing, because I notice when I have a really complicated client, my brain just goes, it gets tired because it's always just working so hard. And my bet is if I was better about exercise snacking, that it would be a lot better. I would get a lot more done.
Well, that'd be an interesting thesis to prove, right?
Yeah.
And so you baseline it. This goes back to project management. You baseline it. Try it. See if you exercise snack once a week, right? So every hour on the hour. I don't know. Like, I have a smartwatch that basically tells me when I've been sitting too long. What I do love is when you're at a standing desk and it tells you you've been sitting too long, and then you just have to laugh, right? You're like, AI will not take over the world because I've been standing this whole time. Ding dong, you know, like that's so funny to me. And then you're like, yeah, but I didn't move. To your point, it's like sitting and standing is one piece, and then there's the component of movement. And so, you know, smart watches are great because they'll count your steps. They'll let you know how much you've actually moved. And so maybe having a goal, quantify it. So one of the things we talk about with leaders and the quantifying work and making work valuable is, what does it mean to make it valuable, right? And so that's what I'm saying. So if you were able to, you know, solve this client's problem in less time or whatever it is, like find a metric that makes it make sense, and then you can, I wonder if I do more snacks, exercise snacks, does it make it shorter? Like what's the sweet spot? I don't know. It's just it's a game you could play with how to do it. And you know, making it easier and accessible for other people, because like, I don't know how to do that, right? And so if you don't have a smartwatch, how do you do it? Well, you could set a timer. You can have one of those egg timers, right? And get it for an hour, and every time you flip it, you have to stand up and do 10 squats, or do jumping jacks, or whatever it is, or walk around, or do 5 sets of stairs up and down your house, or whatever it is. Or go dance, right?
Go dance, get a rebounder. I mean, have a rebounder in your office, or rebounders are great. I mean, something, right? And whatever makes sense to do for you that works, have fun, right? Because if it's too hard, people won't do it. That's how the brain works. Doesn't want to do hard things. That's that fight and flight. I'm not sure which one it is. It's fighting against the flight, I think. Right. Fighting the good fight. I don't know. It's interesting how, you know what's good for you. Like, I'm doing some PT for my shoulder, and even last night I was like, why am I so against doing this shoulder work? And so I had a big, long conversation with my PT. I said, I gotta be honest, I'm just not doing it. And she said, why? Like, I don't know. I'd rather like do squats, right? Because I know that's strong and it's easy. It's not easy, it's hard, but you can do it.
Whereas like, this is so degrading to have to lift such light weight with this muscle that I'm trying to target.
Yeah.
And like, as I was talking through it, I said, and so my brain is telling me, I don't want to do that because I don't want to feel how hard this is. And it's just that self-reflection is really interesting, right? So your brain will protect you from doing hard things because why do you want to feel like that? But after I was done, I texted her and I'm like, I hate stupid exercises and I know I need to do them because there we go. And I'm paying you for this.
Right.
Right.
Do that.
And but I'm like, and I'm gonna keep doing it, right? And so it's all good things.
I had a client, a former client who came to me, fatigued. He's a business owner building a pretty significant business, I believe construction, and was overweight, tired, had, sort of your typical kind of metabolic syndrome issues, blood sugar, high cholesterol, all of the things. And I asked him one day, I said, when's the last time you went on vacation? It's like, I want to say he said, I can't say he said never because he was probably, he's 45, 50 years old, so I can't say never, but it had been years. And I told him, I was like, whatever we do, if you don't go take a vacation and get away and stop working for a little while, I don't know that we're going to make a lot of progress. And I think that we have this, it's this, which is, sorry, thinking through how to say this. We as entrepreneurs are trying to build businesses that make impact, right? But if we're building an impact that makes, building a business that makes an impact that we can't step away from or it's gonna fail, then we have not built the foundation properly. So I'm not trying to get into a business building because I'm not a business person. I'm building a business, but it's got some holes in it for sure, right? But there has to be, there's got to be a way of getting away and allowing your mind and body to rest for a period of time. And we, I think, as a United States society, have taken that away. A lot of us still vacation, but when we do vacation, what are we doing? We're taking our computer, we're setting up meetings, we're like, I can do it on the beach, right? I can do it at the pool. Like, we're virtual, we're a virtual society. We can do all the things everywhere instead of truly letting go.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking because this is what I was going to do in Mexico, right? We were supposed to go to, did you know we're supposed to go to Mexico? We're going to fly into Puerto Vallarta, And so we have.
But I'm like, why would you work there?
I know. But I actually, there's an AI course that I wanted to take, and it's once a week, and I was like, I can do that in Mexico. I told one of my clients, she's really sick and really complicated, and I'd like, if you want to meet, I'll meet with you. It's fine. And she's like, no. So, these things that we give in on, it's not truly letting go. And I'm trying to tell myself these things as I'm talking to all of you at the same time. But that the nervous system reset is also a mitochondrial reset, right? It's an everything reset, and it's got to be done.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that genetically women are more of these perfectionist, givers, accommodating all the time. It's just our genetic makeup. And I'm not saying every female everywhere all the time, but that's just DNA science has kind of proven that. And so I think there is a really good call out for you. So well done that you started to call this out as, wait a minute, I'm not being truthful to myself. And I'm also recognizing that if I am going on vacation and I'm giving that advice to others, I should probably take that for myself. Yeah. Right? So, there is no such thing as perfect anyway. So you can never achieve that state because it doesn't exist.
No.
Yeah. And so like calling it out is the first step of how to change. And so, baby steps, right? Yeah. And so maybe you go and you take the class for an hour, but you still go to Mexico and you don't see your client, or you see your client, or it's an on-call situation if she needs you because she's sick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not a either or, it's
Right.
a yes and.
Yeah.
And so, I think we're all trying to figure out how to make it all work. And, the world is great that it's accepting all these differences in ways in working. So
Mm-hmm.
I think, you should definitely go to Mexico and eat all the great food and
Yeah.
go sit in the sun.
Mm-hmm. We are going. We're going. It's just not
Yeah.
going to be May. But what was really cool, though, and we're sort of at the end of our time. I could sit and do this
Oh, wow.
forever. I know. But it allowed me, since I had nothing on my schedule, it allowed me the opportunity to work on my business as opposed to working in my business. So I was able to do some of these things that have been on my list, that I've not taken off my list, because it is important, but they're like multiple tasks with these big things that needed to be done, and I was like, I can do this now. So it was a little bit of I think for me and for my husband as well, he's got some big things going, and he was like, I would have been working a lot. And so you know, I think, you know, God has his way of working things out. We made the decision, and we're going to go in May, and hopefully May just means we can just sort of let things go and have fun and not worry about it. So anyway, is there anything else that we need to hit on at this point?
I don't think so. I think we talked about all the great stuff of that, you know, how leaders can kind of lead from the top to push positivity around this next level of leadership, and also for themselves as we age. So it's a double win of how do you do the succession planning for your younger generation on your team, as well as how do you age with grace and doing the work now. So I think it's a double win for people that are in leadership positions to do that.
Yeah. I think too that the thing, and leaders, well, as I say, leaders are good at delegating. That's not always true, but that's the role of a leader, right? Is to delegate. And and if the strength is not to be the leader who does the walks and the water and, you know, the not eating at the computer and all of these things, then the strength in my mind should be you delegate to the person who has those strengths, who can be that leader and can then help the leader to, you know, the leader is then going to follow the lead of that person that it's delegated to, who has the ability to think outside the box and think about those things, as opposed to just not doing it, right? Because it's not going to do anything but benefit the business, the person, the future, all of it. Yeah, I think the call to action here is try it for a month, see what changes. Try it for a month. What's the worst that happens? It's 30 days. Not even. You don't work 30 days a month, I don't think, for most people, right? Hopefully.
Try it.
Yeah.
Pretend it's February. Do it for the even shorter time, right?
There you go. 28 days.
Right? Do it for 16 days. See what happens. Right? And just do it and see what happens, and just notice. Like, does your mind shift? Does your mental capacity shift? Does your happiness shift? Does your sleep shift? Just try it and see what happens.
Yeah. That was one of the things that you said, and this isn't even around food. Now, you can choose food as you know, one of these things to try, but it was, I think you said a couple of things the other day. It was just shut the phone off at 5 or 6 o'clock, or do the, what is it that you can do to make sure that you're getting that 8 hours of sleep and shutting down, right? So, you know, choose your, I was gonna say your poison. That's not really the best way of.
Choose your happy water.
There you go.
Snack.
But whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's choose your thing. Choose what makes sense, and try it. Just try one. Just do one thing, not all of it, because that's too much, right? It goes back to breaking down the work. If it's too big, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
But if you can say, okay, for the next 2 weeks, while Monday through Friday or whatever your work week is, after I eat lunch or whatever, some meal during the day, because some people work swing shifts and things like that. But After I eat, I'm going to walk for 10 minutes, whether it's inside, ideally outside, but 10 minutes.
Yep.
Do it for 2 weeks and see what happens. Why not?
Yep. Yeah.
And
I love it.
and if you hate it, you can email Nikki. I'm kidding.
I'll take it.
I'm kidding. I'd be interested to see, right? I mean, this isn't my space. I think it's a great reset to get outside and take in nature and let your mind think in a different way, in different space. And it's amazing what you can solve. You have all the answers yourself. You really do. Sometimes you need some help, right?
Yeah.
From coaches and things like that. But you know in your heart, in your DNA, like what the answer is that you feel comfortable, and then asking for what that is, whether it's to come and support, when you're speaking in public, or how to feel better in your body, like you need to talk to someone who has nutritional background or whatever it is. You can hone in on what your ask is versus saying, I need help.
Yeah.
Right? And so getting more clarity is what the whole purpose of this is.
Yeah, totally agree. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, if we have in this large group of people who are watching this right now, if we've got a bunch of leaders, well, something like 250,000, yes.
What? I had no idea. Okay, hi everyone. That's a lot of people,
Yeah,
Nikki.
yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
we are certainly going to have, or we certainly do have, some leaders out there who could use someone like you. How would they find you?
Oh. Very carefully. There's a couple different ways. LinkedIn is a great space, so you can find me, Liz Pittoni, on LinkedIn. Just put that in the search bar. My company is Spotted Elephant Consulting, so spottedelephantconsulting.com is my website. There's a contact us page through there. My direct email is liz@spottedelephantconsulting.com. So any one of those will get me, and hopefully we can connect. That would be great.
Awesome. Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So her information also obviously is going to be in all of our stuff, right? And all the places you'll be able to find Liz. So reach out to her if you are someone who's looking for these consulting services. She's so much fun, and so I think that you're just great at what you do, and I just enjoy you so much. So yeah, thanks for being here. I don't ever do that. There we go. I got it.
On Zoom, apparently, if you do that, it makes hearts. But there it is.
Stop it.
You're welcome. Watch, I'm going to do one more.
That's amazing. I had no idea. Zoom. Where are we going with all of this? I don't know, but it's really fun.
This is the humor. This is the humor section of our podcast.
I had no idea. That's amazing. Well, I'm going to start doing that now. Thank you. You taught me something today.
You're welcome. Take that. That's a freebie.
Awesome.
I think you have to be on a Mac, but yeah. All right, anyway.
Oh, well, I don't have one of those, but now I have to go get one. Just for the hearts.
There you go. There you go. And the thumbs up. It does thumbs down too, and rain and all this. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Anyway, you wanted to close this out.
Yeah. No, it's fine. So reach out to Liz. She's a great resource. Obviously, you can find me, Taste Life Nutrition, in all the places, the website, the socials, all of the fun things. So you can fill out a free assessment on the website if that's something that you want to do. We'll chat about what's going on, if I might be able to be of service to you. Also, you can look out for the blueprint. Your Precision Wellness Blueprint is what I have been doing so much these days, because it's this really huge report based on you, based on your body, where you are in life. Gives you a bunch of stuff that you can take with you, and then if you decide you want to dig deeper with me, then we can dig into genetics and all of the fun things. If that's not what you're looking for, then you have a really great report to get you started and moving forward, which is my goal for those who are like, I either don't have the time, the space, the energy, or the money for all of the big meeting every week or every month or whatever people need. This is something that gets you going in a good direction and is super focused on who you are and not general, nutrition BS, right? So anyway, check that out. You can find that all over the place as well. So there we are. Thank you again. We are at the end of
Thank
our
you,
time.
Nikki.
So yeah.
Oh wow, this has been great.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Good. I'm glad. So was this your first podcast, like the very first, or you've done one before?
This is my first live podcast ever.
Okay.
So usually it's edited. So we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna rewatch it. How many beep bombs did I put in there?
You didn't do any. I did one.
Really?
Oh, you did?
Wow. Okay.
Know.
Was
Nice
there like
job.
a counter on the side of
There shouldn't even know.
how many times did she drop the F-bomb? Coming from the East Coast is really hard because that's just part of your vocabulary,
Yeah.
Like growing up in New York City, everything is just effing miss. So, I try really hard not to squeak them in there. So
Well, you did a great job.
did it. Well, thank you for having me. This is great.
Cool.
So, do we just hang up or how
No,
does this
stick
work?
with me. I'm going to close everything down. Stick with me. And give me just a second.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, cool.
We'll see you next week, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, streaming live here on KUHSdenver.com. Bye, y'all.